GPS is actually taking us down.
So tip number 1 for traveling into Bosnia, yes, have a GPS, but do not necessarily trust where it's taking you.
Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about continuing our trip through the Balkans. We went from Split to Dubrovnik and made a stopover into Bosnia because why not hit one more country while we are in the area. Definitely had some adventures along the way, and Steve's going to tell you a little bit more about that.
So the first tip you already saw was get a GPS, but don't necessarily trust it. So our GPS took us into the backwoods of Bosnia, and it freaked me out a little bit, and I'll tell you why in a second. But first of all, it took us on a back road that did not look like it belonged on a GPS. It looked like a little farm road. People would dump stuff back there.
I'm not sure that it was a road.
Well, it was listed on our GPS and our Google Maps, so
it looked
clearly
like a tractor trail.
It did. It's exactly what it looked like, and it was narrow. It scratched the heck out of the rental car that we had. So tip number 2, get your rental insurance.
Thankfully, all superficial, and they just kind of like wiped off, so all was well.
Yeah, but it may not have, so.
True.
Tip number 3, if you're traveling from Croatia into Bosnia, you need to have a green insurance card that's specific to going into Bosnia. Not all rental car places actually mention this. Ours did, thankfully, but I read that a lot of them don't. So make sure that if you're planning on traveling in there that you have a green insurance card along with all your rental car stuff, because if you get caught in there without it, there's a pretty hefty fine from what I understand. So make sure you have that.
So that narrow, adventurous road led us to a really beautiful place called Cravaack Falls. And I really liked it there. They had tons of parking, so you don't have to worry about that. And they had kind of an open air little, I don't want to call it a market. I think probably in the more touristy season, there's probably some more stores there. But they had like little booths set up, and we got like a memorabilia magnet for €1, which was super nice. And then
We probably still got taken.
do you remember how much it was to get into the falls?
Yeah, it was small entry fees, somewhere around like €2 a person.
So just beyond the little kind of hut where they check your ticket, there's bathrooms, so you can change, you can put your swimsuit on, you can do diaper changes if you need to do that with your children. And then you can choose either to walk down to the falls, or there is a little train that will take you down. We decided to walk. Definitely do not take your stroller because there are a good amount of stairs that you'll need to. So we just put Harrison in the carrier. And then we decided actually to pack some food from Split. Or from, actually, where did we come from?
Mimica.
Yeah. Okay. So we just took some groceries, packed a picnic lunch. Tons of other people did it, and it was really fun just to sit right there by the water. People were swimming, people were kayaking,
Jumping off rocks in the water.
Off the rocks. Yeah, so you could just kind of sit and view the falls and have a picnic, which was really fun. And then we did venture into the water. Steve more than I.
Freezing cold.
Harrison was really unsure about how cold the water was, so we just kind of got his legs a little bit wet, and then he was pretty chill with that.
So we, like I said, we stopped at Cravaack on the way to Mostar. Now Mostar Bosnia, like a lot of Bosnia, was damaged pretty severely during the Balkan Wars of the 90s. Mostar in particular was actually like devastated when it came down to it. So as we drove through Bosnia, we kind of had this, it's kind of a weird feeling driving through there because you feel like if you're old enough to remember it, you're kind of thinking, wow, is this still a war zone? And tip number 3, speaking of,
Because of that.
there are still some active minefields in the area, so you'll see signs for them. Do not stray off the paved road, which is why I was freaked out earlier with the other road we got stuck on. So
The minefields are clearly marked, just so you know. But I would not suggest off-roading.
don't be adventurous, that kind of adventurous. Yeah. It was interesting city. You can tell it's been a really rebuilt. They've done a lot within the last 20 years or so just to rebuild everything that was destroyed. In particular of note is the Stari Most Bridge, which is a very famous icon just for that city. In fact, it was actually destroyed completely during the Balkan War. Tip number 4 for this place, for Mostar in particular, do not bring your stroller into that city, especially Old Town. It is not stroller friendly. I mean,
Cobblestone,
like
stairs.
Hardcore cobblestones, not just like a little tiny brick ones, like
really round ones.
thick ones, they're jagged too. So like our stroller took a beating during that trip. So we recommend carrying your child if possible.
If you like shopping, there were tons of shops along the way, like little boutiques, a lot of like lace, jewelry, handmade crafts, and they seem to take multiple currencies, so don't feel like you have to get the Bosnian mark. If you do, beware. With the vendors, ours was very honest, which I appreciated, but there is a value difference between the kuna and the mark. And so just be sure of what currency you're actually paying in and how much it actually costs. And as far as parking goes, it is a little bit confusing.
Yes.
They do have these parking attendants that will tell you kind of where you can go and direct you into different lots. But you do need cash to pay for that. And I think it cost us around 10 to 15 euro.
Yeah, it was actually way more than it should have been. So
it was
you probably
a little expensive.
Try and look ahead of time for some places on the outskirts of Old Town. And you probably pay less or nothing at all. We didn't do enough research on that ahead of time, but whatever.
But we also parked really close. So that's the benefit of that.
It's what your priorities are.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing a trip from Croatia, or from the northern part of the Dalmatian coast down to Dubrovnik or something like that, and you want to make a stop and add another country to your list, Cravaack Falls in Bosnia was awesome, and Mostar is worth a look.
For sure.
Honestly, I wish we had a better day in Mostar. It was kind of dreary while we were there. But, it was definitely interesting to see the development of a city that was just had so much destruction during the wars.
Yeah.
So it's good to see they're coming along. But yeah.
Making good progress. Next week, we will be talking about our time in Dubrovnik. I'm super excited about that. So hopefully this has been helpful for you in regards to a little trip to Bosnia. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe below. Thanks, y'all.